The next way you can gain some flex points is by just making deals, which sounds unusual, right? But this is an easy way to gain some flex points. So let's take a look at this example here. You can see that in this case, this group did already get some flex points because they had a quality gap and a delivery gap. Remember this gap, what is this gap? Is this the buyer-seller gap? Like the buyer and the seller, and they make a deal, and there's a gap here? Is that what it is? No, that's not what it is. It's not a gap. When you win some points, the other side does not always lose points. And when they win points, you don't always lose points. This gap is not between you and the other group. This gap is between you and you. This gap is between your deal and your goal or your ability, right? If your company can make high quality, that's great, but they save money by lowering quality a little bit. If they can deliver fast, but they can make a deal to deliver slow, then they make some extra profit. That's what this is. This gap is the gap between your deal and your situation, your attribute, your company's ability or capability. Okay, so that's one way, easy way to get some flex points. That's the normal way. But what's another way? Look down here at this section called bonus. Here, this group has +3 bonus. How did they get +3 bonus? Well, if you look down here at the bottom, there's a little instruction. And it says that you can earn extra flex points by making more deals with different groups. What does different groups mean? Different group numbers. So if you make a deal with group 22, then you make a deal with group 18, then you make another deal with group 22, that's okay. That's okay, nothing wrong with that. But what does that mean? That means that this group and this group counts as one relationship, and this one is another relationship. So this would be one relationship, and this would be a second relationship. And we give you extra flex points for every relationship you create. So it's very helpful to make deals with more than one group. However, there's a little bit of a limitation or a rule you must follow. And the rule is that you must make a deal that's at least 10% of your target units. 10%. In other words, you cannot make a tiny deal. You cannot just sell one unit. That's going to be not enough to count for a relationship. So to count, you need to make it more than 10% of the target. Let's take a look at this example here. So here the units that we need to target selling is 1,000. So 10% of 1,000 is 100. So if you make a deal that is equal to or larger than 100, then that counts as a separate relationship if it's a different group. If it's less than, if it's 99, then no, that won't count. Okay, let's look at this example here. So this group made 3 deals. 1, 2, 3. And they are different deal numbers. Of course, they have to be different deal numbers. And they made the deals with different groups. And you can see here that they're going to get 3 extra points. Now, how do they get 3 extra points? Because it's 1, 2, 3, and all of them are bigger than or equal to 100, which was the target. So that's called the bonus. And when you add up all your flex points, you end up with a number, something like here, 15, for example. Your number could be bigger or smaller. And of course, you would like this flex points to keep going up more and more. That would be better and better. Let's look at another example. In this example, the target is 1,030, which means 10% is 103. So if we come down to their flex points, we have some deals here. And we can see here that the bonus is +4. How many deals did they make? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So why don't they have 5? Well, because of this deal right here, which is less than the 100 that we needed to make the deal. Well, in this case, it wasn't a 100, was it? It was 103, right? 103. Okay, so you have to be at least 103. They weren't even close. This was only 70. So this one will not count for extra. Now, you can still make points here in the gap, right? So if they had a quality gap, this would be okay. And if they had a quality gap, this would be okay. But they didn't. So that's separate. So there's two ways to make your points, right? Don't forget, two ways, not one way, right? The two ways is here is one way, and then your bonus is another way. And the bonus is based on different groups and over your target number. Now, if you repeat the same group, that won't count. It will only count for totally different groups. Okay, next we're going to look at a special case that only happens if you're selling products.